This is Court TV Live. Welcome back. I'm Matt Johnson in today for Michael Ayala.
And I'm Ashley Wilcott. Thanks for being with us. We want to head back to Colorado for the sentencing hearing in the father figure murder trial. A jury found Darin Thrailkill guilty yesterday of first-degree murder in the 2016 death of his girlfriend's 6-year-old son, Martin Osinski.
The defense tried to convince the jury that Martin died from a combination of pneumonia and asthma. Let's get you back into that courtroom now where Thrailkill's mother was speaking just a few moments ago. Let's watch the rest of this together.
1988 is when I first met Darin Levi. We called him Levi because his dad was Darin, just so you guys know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, we heard that during the trial. Yeah.
And that just kind of stuck because we had two Darins. But he was 2.5 at the time. And when he was about to exit elementary school, I wrote a poem for him. I don't know if he'll remember it or not, but I used to write a lot of poetry, and I wanted to share that so he knows this tragedy separated a lot of families, and there's been a lot of loss on both sides. And I want him to know how much we do love him and how much we believe in him. My pride and joy, I remember the first time I saw him, a tiny boy with the innocence of an angel, shy and headstrong with his whole life ahead of him. As the years unfolded, I came to know this bright, emotional, handsome child. His personality blossomed before my eyes as he filled my days with light. I held him when he cried, and I scolded him when he lied, and supported him as only a true mother can. Though I can't take the credit for bringing him into this world, I can be thankful to whoever brought us together, and I can be proud of the young man that he's become. I love you, Darin Levi, and I am thrilled to be your mom. And as others had said that they were not able to forgive, I have done an awful lot of forgiving for the other side of the coin, and the people involved. I pray for all of them. And I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Did Sean want to be on camera, or
I don't care.
you don't care? Okay, thank you. Can you just state your name for the record, please?
My name is Martin Thrailkill.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is kind of a last minute thing, so I don't have anything prepared, but
No worries.
I loved my dad, even through all of what he's been through. It pained me that I couldn't be with him for most of my life, but I knew that he was doing what he needed to, so every time I am about to make a bad decision, I think, is that what Dad would want me to do? Would he really want to see the end result of that? And I tell myself no. It keeps me from doing it. He is a massive part of what fuels my dreams and interests, and I thank him for that. I enjoy my time. I enjoy all the times I had in the shop with him, or just even driving around. He gave, through the short summers that we were here, he was able to do so much to give me and my sister an experience I felt safe in his arms, and I really looked up to him as a role model. After that night, I do miss Martin a lot. I treated him as a brother to me, and I also saw what it did to my dad, and I was always worried, even though I never fully understood adult emotions. And I wish he didn't have to go through that, and I wish he didn't have to go through these past couple of years. I want you to know, Dad, that I'm going to continue to support you, even if I don't get to see you for a long while. And I'm sorry that you can't see me be shipped out. I want you to know that even while you were gone, you're still a massive part of my life. And I'm sorry that so much hatred has become upon you. But I know that you're a stronger man than me, and I know that you'll get through it. Just always remember that both me and Alex love you and will continue to love you. That's all.
All right, thank you, sir.
Kind of slow.
You're fine, no worries. Can you just state your name for the record for us?
Amy Freeman.
Thank you, Ms. Freeman.
Eli, sweetheart, I love you to the moon and stars. Always will. Your family loves you. You know, it's almost Thanksgiving. I was remembering how you and I took a trip one day following your mom and dad in the car, and we lost them on the way to Thanksgiving dinner. And I was new to the area. I couldn't figure out where I was going before cell phones. And you and I, we went to Wiener Schnitzel. And that was our Thanksgiving meal. You were a happy camper. You loved what we had. And I was feeling guilty as could be because we weren't supposed to be there. We were supposed to be somewhere else. But I'll always remember that every Thanksgiving. I remember that time when you and I got closer. And of course, our bedrooms were upstairs at the house. And the rest of the family was downstairs. And you and I, we had games up there and we talked a lot. We shared a lot. We had animals that you played with. We're always good to them. You had a bunny rabbit that was out in the shed in a cage, and you'd go get that silly thing and play with him out in the lawn with tenderness and love. You were a very loving little boy. And I'll always remember that in my heart. There was a time when I lost one of my children, and I was very angry for a long time. I just want to share that the anger that people are feeling now only hurts you, doesn't do anything to anybody else. It's best if you can let it go. You live a better life. The sooner you can let it go, the better. For your own sakes, I hope you can do that. And I hope Sean and Alex will remember only the good times. It's hard with what they've had to go through and their pain. But they love you very much. And you'll be getting letters from me, more letters, and I'm sure you'll get some other circumstance coming to you from all of us. It's not the end, sweetheart. It's just another door that's opening to a different future. But we feel a different door opening up for us as well. Not just you. We're all having to change and try to forgive. Forgiveness heals all of us. I love you, sweetheart. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Freeman. Good afternoon, sir.
My name's Darin Thrailkill.
Thank you, sir.
I don't have much prepared either, but
Okay.
I wanted to get a chance to talk on my behalf, as well as I believe I can speak on my father's behalf, who passed a few years ago.
Okay.
Through all the years for growing up with Levi, it was sometimes he could be distant, but when he did actually was there with us, with the family, it was always a great time. He especially wanted to bond with me all the time for going out in the car, just driving around, playing games, all kinds of different stuff. And as the years went on, it just got more distant. I just felt a bit, but I still always loved him. He was always going to be my brother. And I will still go by, one of my father's last wishes before he passed away was to always remain in contact with Levi and do what I can for my brother. And as much as I can, even though he'll be away or somewhere, I want him to know that I do love him and my father loved him and will always be there for him. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Before we head to break, new developments out of Massachusetts, where Brian Walsh pled guilty earlier today to 2 of the 3 charges against him.
Tell me in your own words, sir, why are you here?
I'm here to plead guilty.
On those 2 counts?
Yes.
And you understand that your trial's starting today?
Yes.
On the first indictment? All right.
Jury selection is still underway for the remaining murder charge. Earlier today, Walsh pleaded guilty to the lesser charges of misleading police and unlawful disposal of a human body. Prosecutors say that he killed his wife, Anna Walsh, on New Year's Day back in 2023. Her body has never been recovered. Jury selection is expected to last all week long, with opening statements in this murder case scheduled for December 1st.
It'll be here before we know it. We need to take a break right now. When we return, we'll get you back to more of the sentencing hearing in the father figure murder trial. Defendant Darin Thrailkill will speak.
And investigators in L.A. are investigating new sex assault charges against this guy, Sean Diddy Combs. Details after the break. Keep it right here on your front row seat to justice.
Tonight on Closing Arguments.
Tell me in your own words, sir, why are you here?
I'm here to plead guilty.
We're unpacking new developments in the case against Brian Walsh.
Closing Arguments with Vinnie Politan, tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
The disappearance of Anna Walsh.
Her husband now charged with her murder.
All eyes on this accused killer.
The disappearance of Anna Walsh murder trial. Live coverage begins December 1st on Court TV.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. Let's get you back to more of the sentencing for Darin Thrailkill. He's about to address the court.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Thrailkill, did you want to say anything today, or? And you don't have to say anything because you didn't testify, So it won't be held against you if you don't say anything, just so you know. But you can say something as well.
I just want to say to my family, thank you. I love you. And I hope to see you guys and my children, Sean and Alex. Please write me. I'll write you. It'll get a little better, but thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Let's see, Ms. Mayor, the people's argument.
Thank you, Judge. I know this court has heard all of the testimony from this trial and all the evidentiary hearings leading up to this trial. Martin was a little boy. He was 47 inches tall, 67 pounds, and defenseless against Darin Thrailkill. He was vulnerable and stood no chance against the defendant. The defendant has taken no responsibility for the direct physical harm that killed Martin. He blamed his 8-year-old son within seconds of it happening and blamed his child over the course of time. His lack of responsibility harmed others as well, including his own children, Sean and Alex, as well as Martin Osinski and those who knew and cared about Martin. Defendant left Colorado when he knew he remained a suspect. He carried on some degree of life as if the murder of Martin never happened. The commitment and interest of Grand Junction police detectives kept this case open and alive for some period of time. And the prosecution appreciates Detective Christine Gregory, who took this case over in 2022 to seek an outcome in front of a Mesa County jury and closure for those who had been impacted all these years. Mesa County jurors have spoken through a guilty verdict and conviction for first-degree murder. At this point, Mr. Thrailkill now deserves and has earned his life without parole sentence, and that's what we asked the court to impose. We have filed a request for restitution based on numbers that we could discern as of today in the amount of $4,122.33. We do intend to supplement that request. We're asking the court to keep it open for 28 days to supplement that request. And we do not disagree with the 778 days. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Marasich, is there other argument you'd like to make? Or?
No, Your Honor, just with respect to the cost of prosecution restitution request, I can file an objection if that's appropriate once it's supplemented at that point. Mr. Thrailkill indicated that if there is that restitution hearing, he can appear virtually for it rather than having to be writ back to Mesa County. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, first of all, I did enter a judgment of conviction against Mr. Thrailkill for count number 1, first murder in the first degree, child victim, person in a position of trust, which is a class 1 felony. As mentioned by the lawyers, there's only one sentence that the court can impose under Colorado law, and that is a life sentence without the possibility of parole. I do find that sentence to be appropriate for a number of reasons. First of all, concerning the nature and circumstances of the offense committed, deterring other people from committing this same crime, and deterring the defendant from committing crimes in the future. I also do consider developing respect for the law, protection of the public, and finally do consider the defendant's character and potential for rehabilitation. And I'll just say that I don't find it to be cruel and unusual punishment when someone is convicted of killing a 6-year-old child in a very violent way, as mentioned by the prosecution, an entirely defenseless person, child who deserves to be protected, deserves to live, and in this case, Mr. Thrailkill was convicted of strangulation of that young child in a very violent way, and a senseless and cruel act, quite frankly. And the life sentence without parole is not a cruel and unusual sentence. It's an appropriate sentence for such conduct. And so I do impose that sentence for count number 1, life without the possibility of parole. I do find that there are 778 days of pre-sentence confinement. I am granting the prosecution's request for restitution, the amount of $4,122.33. I don't find a restitution hearing to be necessary, as the prosecution has filed a cost of prosecution with their statement, which includes its basically expenses associated with the trial. And I do find that there is good cause to extend for an additional 28 days for the prosecution to file additional requests for restitution. The defense will have 14 days to respond to such a request. All of the mandatory fees and costs and surcharges that are required by law are assessed. The protection order stays in effect throughout the period of the defendant's sentence. I do make a finding that there are 778 days of pre-sentence confinement. Mr. Thrailkill does have a right to appeal, and if you'll just speak with your lawyers about that, I'm sure they'll be happy to help you appeal. Is the notice, does it have to be filed within 49 days from today's date, Ms. Marasich?
Yes.
All right, so if you do wish to appeal, that notice will have to be filed no later than 49 days from today's date with the Colorado Court of Appeals in Denver. And is there anything I forgot to mention?
I don't believe so, Judge.
Ms. Marasich?
No, I don't think so.
All right, thank you. We'll be in recess.
A life in prison without parole, the judge finding that was appropriate. Let's bring in our guest this hour, criminal defense attorney, former head prosecutor Bob Bianchi. Of course, Bob, thank you for joining us both on the show today. It is appropriate based on the conviction by the jury. Weigh in on what you think of the sentence, as well as what you thought hearing from some of the defendant's family that was just speaking to him about, hey, we support you.
So glad you asked me that question. Exactly, Judge. What went through my mind is that when I used to be with my prosecutors in the homicide squad, I used to tell them all the time, there's so much human nature that's going into these cases. Look beyond the nuts and bolts. And what we saw is an insight. Now, what was done by the defendant is a horrible, horrific act that needed to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But in most instances, we're dealing with a situation here like we do in most homicide cases. We can lose sight of that when we do what it is that we do, when we highlight the most sensational of the homicide cases, that many of them are shaken baby cases, passion provocation cases, things where a person has led an otherwise law-abiding life. When as a prosecutor, you're looking into their background and you're listening to someone like that old lady who's talking about the bunny and how gentle you were and the time that they went on the Thanksgiving trip together, you realize there's a whole human being behind this. And because of a slip moment, many times, because of anger that's out of control, because of something where a person snaps, they do the unthinkable and then pay the consequences of it for the rest of their lives and the family's life. And of course, the victims' lives will never be the same, in addition to the fact that a young child is taken away. So while I completely understand why the prosecutor did what he did, I did it many, many years myself. As a prosecutor sitting there, I can't help in many cases think that this is an otherwise law-abiding person that did a horrible thing with tragic consequences. And I'm not sure where I'm going with it other than they're all not just evil, horrible human beings, even though they may have done an evil, horrible act.
And it is an act that even the mother, Matt, we watched her give a statement that was short to say, you've ruined my life.
Well, there's that. And then, you know, what's with these killers, these convicted killers that don't want to pay restitution, like Brian Koberger and Dina Tower recently? I mean, what is with that?
That's a really good point, because you're right. We're seeing that more often in trials that we're covering.